Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we about to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay with some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and hit talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host Aramis.
Bing, bop, boom. 40 key. What's happening, everybody?
That is a lot of headspace you got there. Wow. That is a lot of
I'll just sit very irresolute, very etudiant. I'll be very debutante. I like feeling small. For everybody looking at Twitter, you see all these AI images of me where I'm smaller than everybody that's like a foot shorter than me. Whatever. It's cool.
Yep. All right. So there's so much to get to.
I got a lot of interesting stuff too. I actually had something that I was sitting on for a week. So you go do your thing.
Well, what you got? Because while you do that, I can zoom your camera in.
Okay. So while I'm getting my notes up, this the Mari DiMercato thing. All right. This is the, you're gonna see me get like grown in a minute. But the rumor, not rumor, but the thing is the coach that hit him in his chest because he had the ball out and dropped the ball, blah, 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 blah. And he got fined for 100K. Now that's fine and all, whatever. But I was listening to Rico's show, our brother, our confidant, mi amigo. And he's like, man, this generation is soft. He said, back in our day, that was nothing. Coaches hit you in your chest till you get your head in the game. I'm like,
for sure.
I'm like, nah, no. Mm-mm.
Not you?
Once you get past high school, ain't happening. Because you got to think, you got to know your audience. Because I'm a 26-year-old running back.
Uh-huh.
You're a 42-year-old offensive coordinator.
Sure.
Whatever. You hit me, and it's just because it's tough love. I'm your coach. What if I don't like it and I hit you back? Then what? Then what happens?
Well, then you're fired from the team. You can't do that.
So you get fired from the team, or you inflict permanent damage on this guy. Now you're sued. Now you have criminal charges.
Mm-hmm.
You could take it a step further with the political climate we're in right now. A white coach hit a black player. NAACP be on his ass. Al Sharpton, Don Lemon, it'd be all over the place. Say and Oso. You don't want to be able to say and Oso room, no. But on the other side, what if he would have hit him back? Then it's there go that thug. That's them again. That's what they do. So it's a lose-lose. So in order to combat and to quell that, what do? They fine the guy $100,000, the team. Mm-hmm. Because they need to nip it in the bud, because they don't want questions. They don't want the scandal. They don't want, the backlash of either side, however you look at it, black, white, male, female, whatever the case, old, young. I look at it like this. You got to know your audience. If this guy would have went to Vontaze Burfict and did the same thing, if he went to Ray Lewis and did the same thing, what about this? There's a story I heard a bunch of times. Little wide receiver. We know him very well. Julian Edelman. He was under somebody's skin, under his skin. A dude like, you know what? I'm gonna kill you. Guess who he was talking to? Aaron Hernandez. Aaron Hernandez said, I'm gonna kill. And Julian was like, know what I know now? Yo, he was gonna kill me. But that's the thing that you got to worry about when you do these kind of things. It's not tough love. It's not that, because and I know we grew up in the same set of people.
Right.
You do that to some people, they're gonna be waiting, and it ain't gonna be a good outcome. And that's the thing. We've seen that as little as Little League, where kids come back with something. So it's not a game. It's crazy. It's like, I get it. You get in his face, fine, cool. Y'all got that relationship where I'm gonna hit you like I think Carl Jones, he mentioned Andy Reid and Travis Kelce last year.
Mm-hmm.
How he hit him, but they love each other, share chicken nuggets, and everything is good. But if it don't work like that with it, it's not one size fits all. You got to know your crowd.
For sure. I don't think I ever ran into that at any level of football, really. But I will say this. I think when it comes to a coach's reaction like that,
mm-hmm.
it does kind of show you two things. A, how much the coach is. I don't want to detract from your point because I agree, but I think to a lesser degree, it conveys how much the coach needs these things to work, especially as a first year head coach there, right? And then secondly, what he believes the relationship between him and the player is,
mm-hmm.
right? I think oftentimes, and this is where I'm going to expound upon your point, I think oftentimes head coaches run the mistake of thinking that because they have a few laughs with guys or because they have a few conversations here and there that are, slightly below the surface, that they are in the circle of trust to be able to get away with stuff like that, right? And I could easily see Sean thinking that because he's had a few conversations with guys and because he, feels like he conveys his message, properly and guys respond properly and don't challenge him, that things are tight, right? But from a player's perspective, and I was just talking to Coach D about this last night on Coach D's Corner, from a player's standpoint, most of the time, if you're not seeing somebody make a spectacle of themselves opposing that behavior, nobody's really going to step out and, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of going to be this thing of, well, I'll stomach it and get through it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a big part of what helped DeMercado kind of get through that situation, and B, that's what probably, made the coach feel like I can get away with this. I can yell at him. I can, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not condoning any of that. I don't think any coach should. I don't think anybody really should feel entitled to put their hands on anybody, really, realistically. But I think the behind the scenes reality of it is there's probably a lot more of that going on behind the scenes at college and some of the lower levels of AAU and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. After I can tell you from personal experience, there was a kid on my high school team that actually, I think our coach did drive him. He snapped. You should see how scared he was at halftime. He's a kid. You could see, and this, I mean, dude was decent. People that know who I'm talking about, who I'm talking about. But I mean, he literally was a good football player, decent point guard, and you could tell like the coach was gonna rip into him. Our coach was not normal at all, at all, and people had a fear of him, But my mom raised me a little differently, but I saw a difference from there to the little bit of college I got exposed to, where the respect changes, the way the organization is run changes. It's more of a, I got to keep my job, whereas I got something I got to get us to stay in good standing.
Yeah.
Because NCAA basketball is different than high school, where you're a teacher and you just volunteer, you get $5,000 to do whatever you're going to do for the whole season. So it is play for keeps, and it's a lot at stake, and it's a catch-22. You don't want that to happen on the field. And Sunny Sun Brian, what up, fellas? I'm here listening to y'all, feeling under the weather. This keeps me saying, hey, feel better, brother. Feel better.
Dinger is saying, why are we talking about this?
Because I want to.
Right. Because we don't listen to anybody else.
Right. I do what I want. Did you hear about Rex Ryan is rumored to be one of the top contenders for the Miami job?
Really?
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
It says Sources believe Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross would be interested in Rex Ryan as a potential head coach option because he wants to target disciplinarian type coaches with experience in the league. Ryan's desire to return to the sidelines potentially as a defensive coordinator is preferable, but a head coaching job is well known in legal circles. He's a disciplinarian?
No.
Since
never been there. He's such a player's coach. It's not even funny.
When? He's like, I mean, he has a serious size. I've met him in person. You know, he's not like that all the time, but at the same time, it's like people like Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan, the foot thing, they made fun of him. He played it off. McDermott would never. McDermott would disappear. He'd go to Tahiti and you'd never hear from him again.
Especially in Miami, he'd be drinking daiquiris during the press conference.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would.
That would be way too much fun for him.
Mm-hmm.
Way too much fun. Okay, so let me see. So next order of business, and I'm glad we started on a serious note because I think we're gonna have a little bit more fun with this next topic here. Did you get a chance to hear what Tom Brady said about developing quarterbacks? So Cam Newton played this on his show, and I watched a clip of it today. And Cam Newton actually added a little bit of his insight to what Tom Brady said about the state of how coaches in the NFL are developing quarterbacks, right? So I want to play the clip, and then I want to get your reaction from that afterwards. All right? And let me see.
FH said, get the open-toed shoes out, folks. Sexy Rexy hitting the SoFlo.
Right.
Sexy Rexy.
Right. That's what we was calling him here.
I know.
All right, here we go.
Of QBs. You're assuming that everybody knows how to develop a quarterback. You're assuming that you're going into a program. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing when they're tasked with coaching a quarterback or calling an offense. So are you saying, I mean, just like we rank quarterbacks 1 to 32, do you rank offensive coordinators 1 to 32? Do you rank quarterback coaches 1 to 32? Well, what if you have the 32nd ranked coordinator in someone's mind, the 32nd ranked quarterback coach? How is he getting a level of development that the guy who's first is getting? When I got to the Patriots, I sat behind Drew, who was a franchise quarterback, right?
Press pause.
In my second year.
The thing that may not be the popular pick, but it needs to be said for perspective. Coaches nowadays are benefiting more off of players' success, more so than players benefiting off of the development of good coaching.
All right, let's stop it right there. So when I heard this clip, you know who I immediately thought of.
Why? Who? Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
Dennis Green.
The new age Marty Schottenheimer and Denny Green. Sean McDermott, obviously.
Oh
right?
man, I didn't see that coming.
So one of the things that I think needs to be brought out here is we hear Sean talk a lot about player development here, right? And I think we have very clearly seen Bobby Babich develop safeties and linebackers, right? We've seen that. That's been cut and clear. What other position on this team, aside from what Babich has developed, would you say another coach has kind of, brought up and developed on this team?
Only one I got, and you probably gonna hate me for this.
Okay.
Offensive line.
Aaron Cromer?
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, I want to mess your point up, but that's the only one I had. Yeah.
No, but that's good. And I was hoping that there would be somebody else too, because I think what we've seen from the offensive line when we had, so we pretty much had everybody here aside from McGovern and Torrance playing in Dayball's system, right? And we saw in that system, these guys weren't that great at run blocking. I don't know if it was the style that they had to run or whatever.
Don't you say it. Don't you do it.
What?
I'm not. Hey, you say one thing is gonna alert, it's gonna come up. There's one person gonna pop in there. Be careful what you do. Be careful what you do, what you say.
You're right. You're right.
I'm like,
last thing I need is Nate to jump on my back about this. But again, I guess where I'm going with this is when you look at the job that Cromer does, and when you look at the job that Babbage did, it's very clear that those are two coaches that can develop at positions. One of the things that Cam Newton goes on to say is there are some coaches in the league that are good at developing positions. That doesn't mean that you're going to be a good coordinator. There are some coaches in the league that are good coordinators. It doesn't mean that you're going to be a good head coach, right? And as he's pointing this stuff out, I'm thinking, when you think of the resume stuffer, Sean McDermott is probably the only coach that got hired off of a resume stuffer, which was, I ran the defense that helped get the Carolina Panthers in 2015 to the Super Bowl, right? Because aside from that, he wasn't responsible for developing Brian Dawkins. Brian Dawkins was Brian Dawkins well before Sean McDermott was the safety coach in Philly. So we know that's not him, right? If you want to look at the development of Josh Norman and then the disappearance of Josh Norman, you could say, yeah, Sean McDermott was very good at developing young corners. And I think here we've seen a defensive system that is good at developing young corners. Now, we haven't seen what it looks like when you bring an elite talent at corner into the building and help to develop them.
See, I push back on that. Not because I don't agree with you, but the development of the elite corner, Josh Norman. McDermott, I bet you Dollars of Donuts did not select him. He didn't. He just got placed with him.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, when you get those elite guys, it's not because McDermott did it. It's because they already were elite and they just played in the system. And somebody ahead of him or above him knew, for our system that I'm going to run, this is the guy that we need. And that's where that GM confluence comes in, the head coach confluence comes in, whoever else is involved comes in. So it's like, when you see what McDermott has selected, what McDermott being selected, whoever you want to say, I'm not going to pile on either one. It hasn't been the same quality as what we had there. So you're never going to get that output. He thinks he can just plug and play people.
Right.
But that's the problem.
Right. And thank you for kind of like, putting that in a pretty little bottle for everybody to digest, because that's exactly where I was going. And to drive your point home too, Sean McDermott didn't even know who Luke Kuechly was before Luke Kuechly got there.
But we did. We all knew who he was. I don't know what that was about.
So that tells you right there, Sean McDermott wasn't going and telling the GM who to pick in Carolina.
Right.
The GM was doing their job, and Sean was reaping the benefits.
He says, "Who's this curly-headed kid? He ain't got it. He ain't got it."
Right. He said that. He said initially, I didn't even think he was that good.
I would have put that in my back pocket. I never would have came out.
Never again.
I'd have zipped that right in their cargo pants.
I might have boofed it at that point.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Straight up the butt.
Right in there.
Coming out.
Never coming out. Laxatives and all. Nothing's gonna happen.
You're welcome, everybody. I told you this would be a much funner segment. But
Smitty there, like, what did I sign up for?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting, and I'd love to see you guys' reaction to that, because for where the NFL is now, you look at what the Eagles are going through with Nick Sirianni, and people are looking at Nick Sirianni like, weren't you an offensive coordinator? Yeah, but he's not an X's and O's guy, right? He's a guy that came up under the Shanahan system, right? Mm-hmm. So that the implementation, I think it was Shanahan. I could be wrong, but the implementation of the offense last year when they won the Super Bowl was Kellen Clemens, mm-hmm. right? That wasn't Nick Sirianni's offense and Kellen was just calling plays. That was Kellen Clemens' offense, mm-hmm. right? So, or Kellen, is it Kellen Moore? I think it might be
Kellen Moore.
Yes, Kellen Moore.
Kellen Clemens is the quarterback from the Jets.
Correct. That's who I was thinking about. So yeah, that was Kellen Moore's offense, not mm-hmm. Nick Sirianni's, right? So I'm saying all that to say, there are some guys in the league like Shanahan and McVay and Kellen Moore and Liam Cohen who's down in Jacksonville now, running that show, and Andy Reid, like these are the guys that got it. These are the guys that have a vision and have a system and are able to build up talent within the system that they run, right? I mean, the Saints are scrappy as hell this year, right? And they're not an easy out by any means. That's because of what Kellen Moore is doing. That's also because of what the defensive coordinator Brandon Staley is able to do with the talent they have on defense. You look at Andy Reid's ability to put Tyquan Thornton in his system, and that guy is having an impact now where he was doing absolutely nothing in New Orleans.
Somebody I really wanted. I really wanted him because I was like, yo, we could use that. With speed. We could use that.
Exactly.
But I guess we didn't think so.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, Tyquan Thornton, wasn't he in New England last year too?
I believe so.
So this is a guy that's bounced around, and now all of a sudden it looks like he's found a home in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. So
I think we have to really kind of take a good look around the NFL. Part of what is so difficult for Bills fans to stomach when it comes to us saying that the Bills are not as good as they think they are is this bubble that Bills fans tend to be in, right? There's this bubble of Buffalo marketing and Buffalo culture and Buffalo, you know what I'm saying? It's like we get into that and it's so comfy and comfortable. We don't even care about what's going on in the rest of the NFL, right? We'll watch games on TV and get little bits and pieces of information, but we don't know that Nick Sirianni's not a real offensive mind. We don't know that part of the reason that team is struggling is because they hired a first-year coordinator that was already in the building that's never called plays before. Right. And that's the biggest reason why they're struggling. Nobody's talking about that. What they're saying is, well, we have no idea why they're struggling right now.
Mm-hmm. And Albert, we'll talk later.
Okay.
Well, not you. Me and Albert, we'll talk later because he said they all have multiple top 10 picks and players. We're in a different situation. No,
I can't wait for you to tap that one.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Okay. So I guess at the end of the day, when we're looking at what the head coach is saying he's here to do, and this idea of the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th round picks coming in and playing a role on this team, this idea that they can just develop guys. They've done that with the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round players. Why? Because the scouts are the ones picking those players. But the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round picks don't seem to do much development at all. Why is that? Because most of the time, according to what Jim Mona said, it's not the scouts picking the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd picks.
And honestly, I mean, and it's see, people say Jim Mona is salty. How? I mean, yeah, he got fired here, but what's wrong with the GM and the head coach picking the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd? What's wrong with inherently?
Yeah.
Nothing. He's not slandering them. He's just saying that's their picks.
Right.
And they don't work. So everybody's like, well, you can't listen to him. Why not? What is he saying that has to be wrong? He's that salty. I mean, DeCosta's over there probably doing it. Veach's probably doing it. It's being done. It's just not being done well here is the problem.
Right. And he's on the way, if not already, to making more money than he ever made here because I think he owns one of the XFL teams or the UFO, whatever. I think they combined already. Mm-hmm. But he's either the GM for one of those teams or owns the part owner of one of those teams or whatever. So he's already on his way to not needing to do this for the sake of getting another job in the NFL. Mm-hmm. If he wanted, he could absolutely have it, mm-hmm. right? Because he's a great scout. Mm-hmm. But to your point, like,
wait, I gotta do it.
Sure.
Where's Spin? Where's Spin? You quiet, Spin. You quiet, Spin. I didn't even type that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he can't even get on the field, man.
He can't even get it. He's hurt now. How you hurt?
He was a healthy scratch last game.
And then he got hurt in practice.
Come on.
Just got a knee.
But the strength and training coordinator that just left the Bills.
Yeah.
He quit.
Yeah.
To be clear, he quit. He left. He wasn't fired. He left. Mm-hmm. Right? So we don't have an official report about why he left. I'm sure I can find out why. Matter of fact, I'll try to tap in and see why he left. But I think based on all the other stuff that I've reported, it's probably clear why he left.
Yeah.
Right. The work environment probably hasn't improved much from what was reported back in the Tyler Dunn report. But that guy leaves, and it's like, all right, fine, good riddance.
Yeah.
You know, we got this new guy in here that's going to focus more on
getting you back when you get hurt,
right.
not keeping you from getting hurt. Once you get hurt, we got you.
Right.
You can't do that until you get hurt, though.
Well, that dude is, man, he's getting the Bills are getting their money's worth with this guy.
Yeah, how's Hairston looking?
He is going to be the most disappointing story of the Bills 2025 season.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when he's healthy, and they're saying that he's starting to ramp up a little bit, more now this week with individual drills and stuff like that. But if Sean McDermott is still saying we'll see when he's asked, what I forget the specific.
He wouldn't. When asked if Harrison and Bass were close,
yeah,
he said we'll have to see. He said I wouldn't. They said, well, could it be a long term? Could it be a season? He's like, I won't rule it out. They said I won't rule out the season ending.
It's week 5.
I know, and he got hurt. He got hurt 4 days into the training camp. That means he was technically back by their rubric. What, 3 weeks ago?
Right. What, this is not just due to the injury.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to hide Max Hairston until they are confident that he has the playbook down and he can make an impact on this team that all the rest of us outside the building are expecting a first round, super athletic, 4.29 40 type of corner to come in and make.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And until they see that, they're not going to let us see him at all.
Because they don't want to see him being slow at 4.4. Don't want to see that.
Right.
Boom shakalaka.
So I thought that was a pretty interesting point. So here's one more thing I got to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can get into possible help for the defense.
I got stuff.
Okay. All right. So
we'll do this. I'll start it because that's going to lead into your help for the defense.
Okay.
I thought this out.
So wait. I got one more thing. Before
No. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. I'm just saying. When you get to defense, let me get it. Let me start right quick.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in the press conference that I heard today from Josh and Sean,
mm-hmm.
they said something very specific when asked about, what's the message after a loss like that, right? How do you, what are you thinking? What's the locker room thinking? Like, what's the thought process going into this Falcons game, right? And they both said, we don't focus on the result, we focus on the process,
mm-hmm.
right? And I'm paraphrasing because Josh didn't say it exactly like that, and neither did Sean. But that's basically what Josh said is, the thought is, just focus on the process, not the result, right? But when they said that, something seemed a little off to me, and I couldn't pinpoint it. So I called Coach D and I talked to him a little bit about it, and the thought that came out was this: the business of the NFL is a results-driven business.
Yep.
The reason you get on the field in the NFL is because of the results that you left on the field in college. The reason you get a shot in college is because the results that you left on the field in high school,
mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth. Now, when we're talking about results, and then you kind of dismiss the results for the sake of focusing on the process, one of the things that Coach D did clear up was what they probably mean by that is they don't want to get stuck on the result itself, as opposed to being able to see the result and then think back on what area of the process fell off.
That result. Yeah.
What led to that result, right? And that's fair. That's okay. But when you have your quarterback and your head coach saying the same thing, that comes off as the message that they're telling the team, right? Because you don't have two different people say the same exact phrasing and not have it be something that's publicly talked about with everybody and preached to the team with purpose, right? So let's go back to this idea of we don't focus on the result, we focus on the process. The process has produced what for this team?
Same old thing. I mean, it's produced the same old thing every year.
Basically, it's produced 2 AFC championship appearances and losses, and what, 3 divisional losses? 3 divisional losses, 2 AFC championship appearances, all within a 7-year span.
Yeah, I think when I say the same old thing is the last word you said, losses. I mean, I don't care when they did it. They didn't even get to the bowl. You know, you get to the bowl and you lose. Okay, that's another echelon. That's different. That's another level. Right. They're closer. But you know,
you're going against an opponent you couldn't anticipate unless you played them earlier in the season.
Yeah, I thought about it when I was talking to somebody. I don't remember who it was. I think my friend. And he was like, he said something to the effect of, you know, I predicted the team this and third, they're better than this. That I said, I almost said his name. I said, man, but you gotta look at who they played in the wild card. They played in the wild card, they lost to the Texans, and then they played the division twice. They played Miami once and they played the Patriots once. Those are 2 teams you know you're gonna beat.
Right.
You do it all, they can't beat you. Well, they can't beat
anymore.
You.
It's not like that anymore.
So it's like, okay, so that gets you to the next game. And the next game is the Chiefs. You can't get past. See, we know we're good at the division.
Yeah.
We know that 6 win, 5 win, at least 4. We know that.
Right.
So like, my thing is like, why are we hanging our hat on this record when we're playing against this division for 6? You know you're going to the playoffs. So the bar starts at playoffs for me. I don't care about the first 17 at this point because guess what? You're going to win enough to get there. Yeah. Then what do you do? And that's how I look at it.
Yeah. I said that last time, Schmitty. You said, what happened to Super Bowl caliber? They took that banner down. I said that last episode. They took that banner down. Then now it's playoff caliber. It's very easy to go down to playoff caliber. As you just said, you got guaranteed wins from your own division. You know what I'm saying? The significance of making the playoffs goes down when you consider the competition that you have in your own division year in and year out. If you were coming from the AFC North, you know, the AFC North of 5 years ago, where every single team was tough to play against,
right?
Like if you were making your way, you know, to the playoffs through all that, that's a big difference from what the Bills have been doing, right?
Or you figure, I mean, we go what, average 12, 13 wins. 6 in the division, which means we're going what, 6 and 6 outside of the 6 and 5 outside of the division.
Yeah,
that means we're not very great outside of the division.
Exactly.
But guess who you play in the playoffs? Outside of your division.
Exactly.
So that's where they need to focus. You know, we got these 6, we got these 5, but what do we do? Let's act like we lose all those games. Let's take those out of the kitty. Now we're starting off at 11-6. Let's do that. How do we win these other 11 games?
Yep.
That's how do we do that? That's how I would think about it.
One of the things that Sean said when I was doing post-podium conversations on Tuesday, he said in that press conference, he calls Josh Allen the great eraser. And when he said that, I'm like, he just confirmed everything that I was saying, right? But I think more so than anything else, having Josh Allen on this team allows him to use this process that has led us to, you know, what everybody perceives to be, you know, a lot of wins. But at the end of the day, it's the great eraser that is erasing all of the mistakes that the process leaves open for Josh to clean up.
I think that's why I really hate that they hear the fans say, as long as we have Josh, we have a chance. That's why it drives me. People think I'm a hater. It drives me nuts for that very simple, because they say it.
Yeah.
You can say it. Dorothy can say it. Nate, Billy D, all y'all can say it. But guess what? We're fans. When your coach when your GM, when your owner, when people in the front office say that, that's a problem for me.
That's a big
because I'm saying, and I'm not being a hater, what else you got? What else you got?
Yeah.
Who's on defense? What else you got? Josh can't play defense. You got James Cook bottled up because guess what? The team was like, take him away. Make all the rest of them beat you. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
They said, Kincaid, cool. As long as he can't beat us, y'all don't beat us. And that's what the Patriots said and did.
Yep. And it's gonna come down to that in the playoffs against every team that we play. Excuse me. One of the things that pissed me off so much, and I think we've said this already, but I want to say it again. Screw that. Is the Patriots gave the entire NFL for the 2025 season the blueprint to beating the Bills. It's exactly what it is. You shut down the run and you put your best cover guy on Shakir. Let Kincaid go off of it, because at the end of the day, the Bills are not going to see that Kincaid is killing the other team and continue to funnel him the ball.
Everybody
They're
got
not
to
interested.
eat. Everybody got to eat.
Right.
He's full. Who's next?
Right. We got these two guys. They're 6. All right, now we got to get Coleman his 3 or 4 targets a game, and we got to get Josh Palmer his 2 to 3 targets, and Curtis Samuel, he'll have his obligatory handoff throughout the game, and maybe he'll make an additional play after that down the field. But that's icing on the cake if he does.
And Kincaid sitting there with his jersey all torn up grass and all that. More porridge, sir.
That's right.
More porridge. They're like, yeah, scram. Somebody else got to eat. You had enough.
That's right. That's right. But that is all a part of this belief system that Sean McDermott has instilled with the buffer of, if some of this falls short, I've got Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad part is this. What we're gonna, and I, you know what, if you guys want to quote me at the end of the season for being wrong, whatever, I'm gonna put myself on a limb out here. The Bills, if they make it to the Super Bowl and lose, if they make it to the playoffs and lose, it doesn't matter. They're not gonna fire Sean.
No. Yeah, my friend, he said McDermott, he gotta be hot. I'm like, I said, you might put that sucker on 250, 275, but that's it.
Yep.
It ain't gonna cook nothing. He like, oh, this is nice and toasty. I like this. But and I liken the game on Sunday to T playing Madden. She told me when she was younger how she used to play Madden. You know, her stepfather called her down, play against my friends. She'd be working them over. You know what she did? X for snap, throw the ball to X. That's what the Patriots did. Diggs was X. Diggs was X. You can't lose when X does that.
Right.
But the Bills say we don't need X. We got circle, triangle, R1, L1. We got all these things. We don't need it because we got everybody spread it around. Because the thing is, they don't understand. They think that their system is going to keep defense from knowing who's getting the ball. But the way the higher echelon teams are, they don't care if you know who's getting the ball. I'm going to throw him the ball anyway. He's going to make a play.
Right.
You know, I heard Jeremy White say on I forget the name of the show, but it's with Ostrowski and Joe Marino. He said he hears people, the rumbling now is Stephon Diggs is the quarterback whisperer. Because, you know, he went with Josh before he became of age. He went to Houston and had a good season there until he got hurt. Then he's now in New England with Drake May. And they're like, he's like, I don't believe it. But I'm like, I mean, it's kind of bodacious, but it has some weight to it. Is it just him? No, but he gives people confidence. That's the thing. He gives you, you look at Diggs in his eyes. Have you ever seen fear in his eyes?
Never.
A quarterback wants that. I'm not saying our guys do, but I'm saying this guy went into his old place where some people love him, some people hate him, but he knew he was going to get vitriol. And he had that look in his eye like, walked around. They say he walked around, was throwing the ball at people like he belonged in Buffalo still. That's cocky. We don't have that. And the guy that we do have like that, guess what? Sit down, you're disciplined again. And you know who I'm talking about.
Right.
Agent Zero.
Let's see. The Bills. Wait. No, that's not what I'm looking for. So in 2023, the Buffalo Bills averaged, is that right? 30.6 points per game.
2023.
And then they're averaging that now in 2025.
Hold on 1 second. Well, go ahead and make your point. I'll confirm, but I'm sure you're right since you're looking at your screen.
Well,
I can't argue with that when you look at your screen.
No, but so what I guess what I'm looking for is the Bills. What were the Bills points per game with Diggs in the lineup?
Ooh, that's gonna take me a minute, but yeah, no. In 2023, we were averaging 26.5, so we were sixth in the league.
Yeah, that's all I need.
20, we were sixth in the league that year.
What about 22, 21, and 20?
22, 28.4, we were second. 21, we were 28.4, we were third. So 21 and 22 was exactly the same. We just moved down a slot, moved up a slot from 21 to 22, and 20, we were second with 31.3.
So Diggs' first year there.
First year here, we went. Look, let's do this. 2019, we were 23rd with 19.6. The year Diggs gets here, we go up 12 points. Almost 2 touchdowns the year he gets here.
Yep. And then what happens after 2020?
Can't say that because those last 8 games, man. Last 8 games, we've been averaging 30 points a game. Oh, let me see.
So in 2021, how many points per game?
2021, we were averaging 28.4, so we were third in the league.
So 28.4.
21 and 22 were 28.4. We were third and second, respectively.
In the NFL. And the Bills right now are first in the league in points per game, if I'm not mistaken, at 30.6. Is that right?
We are third.
Third. Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, somebody might probably put up 1,000 points in the last day or so. Yeah, we're third at 30.6.
Okay. So the trend this season, and I'll get to my point in all this, the trend this season has been the better the defenses we played, the less points we scored. Right? The better quarterbacks we played, the less turnovers we got. And say what you want about, what happened in the Ravens game. The defense is 32nd in the NFL right now. And realistically, if we're gonna look at this the way it needs to be seen, the Buffalo Bills have been very consistent every single week in their offensive approach, their offensive performance. The difference in the Ravens game that we didn't see versus the Patriots was Josh was able to turn it on and get it to receivers. Why? Because the coverage obviously wasn't that great from the Ravens, right? So it didn't create enough of a hardship on Josh to stop him from scoring. So once you realize that in the last 4 minutes of the game, it's like all we got to do is get the ball back and we know we're going to score. They can't guard us. They like whatever it is that they're doing, they not winning against our receivers right now. And if I put a little bit of pressure on these boys, they not spying me. I'm going to be able to get the ball to somebody, right? But then you play the second-ranked run defense in the NFL, and you play, I think the Patriots were like the 10th or 11th best defense in the NFL when we played them. You play against that team, and for as much as people were talking about, 22nd ranked pass defense, well, if you got receivers that can't separate, it takes their 22nd and kind of moves it up a couple of spots, doesn't it? Right? So I guess what I'm getting to is when we're talking about this, the impact of having a receiver that can really help Josh, or focusing on something other than everybody eats. Billy D sent me this graphic again of this trade offer that people are, saying would be a good offer for AJ Brown. I'm sure you've seen it by now.
Yeah, I put it in the Discord as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this idea of going to trade for AJ Brown, like that's going to solve everything. What's going to stop AJ Brown from having the same mindset that Stephon Diggs had?
Well, what's funny about your logic here, and it's not that But your point differential logic, we have 2024 was a higher point differential than 2023, but now we have a 40-point difference right now. So in 2024 we're at 157. Now we're at 40. So your point about how many points we're scoring versus how many points we're giving up, we're scoring because we have to. Before we were scoring because it was easy.
Right.
You know, it was at will. It's like, yo, stop us. We got to put in whoever the hell the backup was at the time because we don't want to get Josh hurt. We already won.
Right.
Now it's Josh got to play to the end. We scoring 30 points, but at what cost?
Exactly.
And people are not looking at that. You know, before, how were you winning versus now? And then to your point about the wide receivers, everybody's talking about wide receivers. Joe Brady said, and I kind of agree with him. He said, because nobody really can answer me what this means when they say, because you showed it in we looked at the tape, you know, in the last show. He said, what's considered good separation? There are not many players in the NFL that are just going to truly run away from guys in man coverage, which is true because this is factual.
Okay.
The average separation in the league, 2.9.
Yep.
2.9. Keon Coleman is 3. Khalil Shakir is 4. Elijah Moore is 5 point something. Curtis Samuel, if you throw him in there, he's 5 too. So it's not that we can't separate. It's not at all. So what it is their route combinations are off. They're asking guys to do things that they're not great at. I mean, Khalil Shakir, put him outside. His route separation outside is 3 yards a target.
Well, so here's the other thing too, though. Here's the other part of that. If you look at how the yardage was piled up in the first 4 weeks of the season before the Patriots game, I think you could clearly see not all of it was just in rhythm like it was back when Diggs was here either. See, that's the other thing, and thank you for kind of steering me back in the right direction. Because when you watch the offense with Diggs and Cole Beasley and all the yardage they got was in rhythm, right? Josh didn't have to break out so much and you know scramble to his right. He did that maybe twice a game, right? But watching the first 4 weeks of this season, especially in the Patriots game, if he didn't try to scramble and create something, it didn't happen. They didn't get the ball down the field, right? They would have maybe one or two plays per drive in that Jets game where the where the pass play was in rhythm and Josh didn't have to make something happen.
Yeah. I mean, I have further notes. Elite separators, Tyreek Hill, 3.6. Elite. Tank Dell, 3.5. Elite. Rashid Shaheed, I can never say that right. Elite, 3.3. Guess who I'm missing? Khalil Shakir. Elite. Guess who's the lowest?
Who's that?
You'll like this. George Pickens. DK Metcalf. Mike Evans. The guys everybody wants are the guys that don't separate.
The guys that everybody's trying to cover as best as they possibly can.
Because guess what? People, they say these terms, and this is the thing that bothers me about when I listen to certain people. They say these terms, but they don't really know what they're asking for. You know, let's do this. Let's change that. But that's not always what you need because these guys, if you look at these numbers, like, yo, George Pickens, he's got to be garbage. DK Metcalf, yo, how far down on the bench is he?
Right.
You know, Mike Evans, yeah, he's a has-been. He's been in the league for what? 11. What is he now? 11 years? Mike Evans?
Yeah, it's year 11.
Yeah. So, I mean, you hear these numbers, you're like, oh, okay, cool. But then this is my problem, and I'm glad Lynn said earlier what he said before about Sanders, because we picked Sanders and we took Max Hairston, but guess who the highest separators coming out of college last year were? Luther Burden. He was taken at 39. Guess who else? Tez Johnson, 5'10", 154, but he's one of the great separators. He's a horrible sized guy, but he's making it happen in the league. Who else do I have? Isaiah Bond. Remember that guy?
That guy was totally available.
2-3 times over.
Yeah.
Separators. Intermediate.
Yep.
Wow. Who said that Dalton Kincaid was an intermediate threat?
Yeah. No, you know what? That I think is where we should land in this particular conversation, because the idea here is not to bring in help. It's to take what you have and make it great. If the idea is truly about developing the players that you have.
I'm laughing to his side said if I read the transcript, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the show and Dwight Mitchell. You can't read, so why even put that there? Anyway.
Yeah, he also said now it's obvious why there's only 718 subscribers.
How many you got?
You're in a chat with all of our subscribers.
Yeah, you
I'd be careful if I were
that
you.
makes you're one of them.
Right.
You are a genius. Anyway,
so yeah, but again, the idea is and I guess this kind of everybody gets in the way of taking a guy like Dalton Kincaid from a first round pick to a Travis Kelce level player, right? This idea that you get 6 targets, Shakir gets 6 targets, everybody else gets less than that, right? We're gonna feed the guys that we paid or invested in.
He's not so now we can just ignore him now.
Yeah, that's right.
Matter
of fact, we can probably even ban this dude.
No, just let him talk to himself.
Let him talk to himself.
Yeah, let him talk to himself. He's not here nor there. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, secret Tua lover. Probably. It's probably what it is.
It probably is Tua.
Yeah, exactly, Mark. Kincaid has been kicking ass, man. Feed that man.
I told y'all. That's what you got to do.
But again, when your motto is everybody eats, again, that's not going to win in the playoffs. It's cute. It's fine in the regular season. You can afford to get away. The reason that's okay in the regular season is because you can afford to lose a game in the regular season. Like the Bills can be 4-1 right now, and nobody's panicking. I'm not panicking. You're not panicking. Nobody's panicking, right? But the idea is this. You've played 5 games now the same exact way, and your competition got better every single week, right? Teams got more and more tape on you to really figure out what you do best and what you don't do best. And by the time you got to week 5, which is usually the time when teams have enough tape to figure you out and start to game plan better against you, you got beat doing the same exact stuff, right? Now, this isn't some whimsical, the Bills, this happens to the Bills every once in a blue moon. No, this is a recurring issue where the Bills start off the season hot and then they meet somebody right around this period of time and they get their face kicked in. And it's because they start off the season hot with this mentality of everything that we practiced, everything that we're doing, we're great at, we're just going to keep doing it. We don't need to change anything until somebody shows you what you need to change.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, you start off every season that way. How about you switch it up and let's do something that we know they can't beat no matter what, which is give Josh elite talent.
I'm going to throw some names out there for you. You're watching college this year.
Sure.
Okay. I got Elijah Surratt from University of Indiana, 6'2", 209, running 4.6. That's okay. Trust me, it's okay. Because I just told you, some of the best separators are not that fast. You don't have to be fast. You got to have short area burst. You got Makai Lemon from USC, 5'11", 195, 4.48. Matter of fact, let me tell you what they're doing so far. Okay, so Elijah Surratt, what are we in week, 6 games? 31 receptions, 412 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Makai Lemon, 5'11", 195, 4.48, 40. 35 catches, 589, 5 touchdowns. He's a punt return man as well. Let's see. And Victor Snow from UB. Now, UB likes the Bills like UB. Victor Snow is electric. He's a small guy, 5'8", 170. But he has 410 yards, 5 touchdowns, 29 receptions. He returns punts. He runs jet sweeps. He does everything for their offense. He's the guy that you go to when you need. If you watch anything on Victor Snow, you'll be like, why is he open? Even Tommy was like, he texted me, he's like, Victor Snow, huh? I said, the way this NIL thing goes, you might be at Miami University. I don't know. That's what KJ Osborne did.
Yeah.
He went from UB to Miami and got drafted. So, it's like, okay. But the hurt piece of all this for me is it's always the same thing. Like, you got what you need here. Where's the complimentary piece to it? You got to find somebody that can complement and can open it up for Keon, can open it up for, Khalil. Why not put Khalil outside and bring another slot in?
Yeah.
Do something like, you got to be creative. You paid this dude, he's good. He's your best wide receiver. Don't do that.
Yeah. 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 So, look, I think what it really comes down to is we're going to have to accept that this is the existence we are going to live in for at least the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only way that Sean McDermott gets in any kind of trouble is if the Bills don't get the 1 seed and lose in the wild card round. I think if that happens, with as much as they've invested in the defense and what they've invested on offense, injuries aside, I still think Sean is going to take some heat. Right? I mentioned this I think I mentioned this on Tuesday. When you look at the Bills, matter of fact, I got it pulled up here. I'll pull it up. So
you do that, yeah, Darth. I mean, you said they have Jay, they scramble to open it up. They just keep him on a leash and try to make him a pocket passer to preserve him. And he said when they need him, the leash comes off. But that's the thing. Why should we need him?
Mm-hmm.
Not to do anything besides be a quarterback. You should have other guys that fulfill those roles for a quarterback. I mean, you should have a guy that you can toss the ball to and have relative faith that he's going to get a first down. He's going to make a play. Something's going to happen, and we just don't have anybody to that regard outside of Shakir. Once they lock Shakir up, once they lock Cook up, checkmate. That's what we've seen so far.
Right. So this is what I wanted to look at. So right now, the Buffalo Bills are spending $131 million, $478,027 on offense. On defense, they're spending $103,685,291. And then on special teams, they're spending $8,593,056. Now, when you take Josh Allen's contract away from the offense, and his cap number for this season is $36 million. So just a quick math in my head, 36, you're probably looking at about $128 million on offense. And I'm sorry. No. You're talking about $98 million.
Mm-hmm.
98. And then $103 million on defense. So I brought this point up on Tuesday, I believe it was, where I was talking about, Josh makes up for about a third of what they're spending on the offensive budget. So if you take his contract out and you look at what the Bills are spending in general, they're spending the most money for any particular unit on defense, right? And this is the third year in a row now where we are looking at the defense and the investment on defense as that little kid with a stick, like, we're poking the dead thing, like, come on, do something. Please do something. And it's not, last year it was turnovers, right? But at the same time, the numbers between last year and this year are very similar, right? I talked about yards per play allowed and a few other stats that kind of showed similarities between what the Bills defense is allowing this year versus previous defenses in the last few years. And when you're spending that much on defense, more than any other unit, right? And you've got this Ferrari quarterback, and you're investing less in his side of the ball than you are on the defensive side, but your defensive side is the unit that's costed you more playoff games than anything else. I think we have to take a really realistic look at just how much we should be trusting what comes out of our head coach's mouth. And I think that's what it really comes down to is, at the end of the day, it's hard for me to get into the rah-rah mode about what we're seeing in all this winning, because I know I'm being lied to. I know I'm being fed rhetoric. I know that I'm getting this marketing ploy from a guy who thinks he knows, but even with the best opportunities and the best quarterback in the NFL, he has not shown that he is capable. And there's a big difference between a guy like a Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan or a Raheem Morris and what he's done with the Falcons defense. There's a big difference between those guys who come in with the X's and O's that are proven to work in the NFL in multiple locations, and what Sean McDermott did in one location with one team, one time on top of that, one time.
And I forgot I heard everything you said. I just forgot. I want to tell everybody the last name I had on the draft pick wide receivers was Jaden Higgins.
Okay.
6'4", 214, 459 receptions, 121 yards and a touchdown.
He was on my list.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, mine too. Yeah. I mean, he was raw, but yeah, he was. I mean, whatever. Yep. But these are the things that they pass up, and I'm not poo-pooing saying Harrison's the bad guy. Both are going to say it way before I do. But I think these are the moves you have to make if you're really trying to get that separation.
Yeah.
And that tells you, I mean, we need to put that to bed because McDermott's talked about it. Brady now commented on it. You scheme guys open is what he's saying. You don't have to get guys can do it. We scheme them, but you're not doing it. So it's more on you than them. Make it work.
Right.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So the last thing I wanted to get out to is when you look at this approach of wanting guys to mature, wanting guys to behave older than they really are, or behave a certain way specifically. What Sean is talking about is he wants guys to behave like veterans, right? And that's fine, but let's take a deeper look into why. Why does Sean McDermott not want to have to deal with the ups and downs of rookies on the field, right? Well, we know from previous experience that head coaches persevering through, the rookie ups and downs on the field is hard on the veterans, right? Especially when you have to choose between bringing in a rookie quarterback to play with your veteran team or trying to go find a veteran to come in and play with your veteran team. If a coach is in win now mode, or if a coach is in the mind state of Sean McDermott, where I don't really want to have to deal with the difficult conversations that might come with playing a rookie quarterback, let's just go with the veteran guy.
Mm-hmm.
You end up with what you have now, where it's this mentality of we don't want rookies to get in the way of what these veterans are trying to achieve and trying to get to in a Super Bowl, right? Which means we don't see, an emphasis on rookie contribution in their first year, which is highly unlike anything that any other team around the NFL does, right? Most teams are trying to get the best bang for buck.
Mm-hmm.
Sean McDermott says, screw all that. I don't care what it costs. We're going to do things my way, right? And when I thought about that, I said, well, why? Like, why does that bother him so much? And then it occurred to me, this is the same guy that gets there's such a buildup of anxiety and tension and internal conflict whenever you ask him a question about what's wrong with the defense, right? I'm saying that to say he doesn't do well with hard conversations. He doesn't do well with having to manage and navigate situations that could potentially make him look bad, right? That's why we're not seeing Max Hairston on the field right now,
mm-hmm.
right? Even though he's ramping up, that's why the phrasing is we'll see and not, well, he's our first round pick and we got to get him out there. He's got to get reps. Like Sean could easily say that if that was the mindset, but instead, as Sal Capaccio put it earlier on the radio today, Sean McDermott doesn't want to put that stuff out into the ethos so that if something does go wrong and Max Hairston doesn't play, Sean doesn't look bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Sean is thinking about. Yeah. That's the ultimate thought process for Sean McDermott is, A, what can I do that ensures that we don't look bad? And then B is, what can I do that puts me in the best position to not have to deal with conflict in the building?
Yeah. I just wanted to address Darth. He said that Palmer was a good separator before he came to Buffalo. He was never a good separator. They tell you that, but he wasn't. And I'm not saying you're listening to everything they say, but he never was. His best year of separation by next gen stats was 2021. Everything else was way below average.
The numbers don't emphatically say it, but I mean,
yeah, you can look at it, and I mean, he caught balls, because he's a possession guy. He doesn't have the breakaway speed. He doesn't really have. He runs decent routes, but he's not just gonna foolish with it.
Right.
Like they made you believe. Like can he separate? That's like saying can he be a wide receiver in the NFL? You got to do that to be a wide receiver.
Right.
Keon Coleman's a wide receiver, and everybody talks about how bad he is at it, but he's a better one than. No, Samuel, I'll give you that. Samuel, he was better before he came here.
So a little bit of pushback about the separation of these Bills pass catchers. And this is what I forgot to really say specifically. When I was talking about, Josh scrambling and making things happen, that counts too towards their stats, is the separation that they get on broken plays. And for the Bills, that's been their offense all season long. So I don't know if I would look at just the separation numbers for the pass catchers on the Bills this season and say their numbers are fine.
Well, no, I don't look at that, but I look at like we did on the last show. I look at, are there guys open at any point?
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'm like, there it is right there.
And Josh is missing them.
Right. There it is right there. And and I was talking to Laura last night, and I said, I'm not getting on him for putting his cape on and stuff, but how many times did he put his cape on? He doesn't really have to. That's the thing. In the NFL, and this is the thing about Josh. And she asked me, do you think that was a one-off? Like, no, but it works usually because we know Josh is a late thrower. He doesn't throw it in anticipation. He has to see it. That's why he throws so hard, because that's what he does. And it's fine. It works until it doesn't.
Right.
So, they say if you're open for a second, you're open. And sometimes he just doesn't get there. And that's when he takes off and everybody, oh, snap, you stiff arm, somebody kicked him in the chest, jumped over this other guy, built a building, and that's where that comes from. But yeah, if you watch the all 22 with your eyes on the sidelines looking at the wide receiver, you'll probably find somebody underneath. It's not a exciting play to make. It's a dump off somewhere. You're like, I can go get 10 myself, but that's 7 right there. And those yards add up.
Yeah.
So it's not that he's missing. It's just like he's like, nope. That's why you see him pointing. I want you go over there because I want to make that big pass. I don't care about Cook. I don't care about the Knox and Palmer over the middle. I want that, and that's what he sees. He keys on it, and he came down off of that because that's where all those interceptions came from.
Yeah. But
now you see the interception he had on Sunday was one of those deals where could I have done something different with the ball? Yeah, throw it away. Right. Just give it up.
Right. One of the things that I think we know to be true about Josh is he loves throwing to wide receivers. And even when Knox went off that one season for 9 touchdowns, it still wasn't nearly as much as he was throwing to Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Right.
Knox was like all red zone.
Right. So the moves that are being made are not being analyzed properly. I think there's too much buy-in to what we're told the day these guys are drafted. There's too much buy-in to what we're told the day these guys are signed, and we don't think critically enough about what's being said when it's being said when these moves are made. And I think that is what leads us to these moments of, well, damn, now exactly what I titled this episode. Is help on the way for this defense? Are the Bills going to make a trade? Like, you had all offseason to get this ready.
I'm into this conversation. I didn't know what we were talking about, but I'm into this. I did a lot of research on this, so I'm into it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you had your opportunities already. How did you still get to this point unprepared? Right? How did you still arrive at week 5 thinking, man, I got to go and get another corner now because the guys that I have in-house, they're less than what I have playing corner right now. So there's no answer in how at safety. Sure, you got Jordan Hancock, who's a healthy scratch right now, can't get on the field. Why? Who's gonna ask that question?
You said something earlier about going into a season wanting to change. Last year, okay, let me ask you: was the defense worse or better last year? Was last year's 2024 worse than 2025 or better than 2025?
I think what we're seeing now would lead me to believe that last year's defense was better.
Just wanted to say. Now, this is where I nerded out here. You ready?
Mhm.
Bear with me. The Buffalo Bills buy down. Cover 3, 35 to 45%. Second down, medium, 4th and 7, 4 through 7 yards,
Mhm.
30 to 35%. Cover 3. Third down, 15 to 20%. Red zone, 20%. They were a cover 3 team. But if you know anything about cover 3, I know you do. You know where you're at. More. I looked all this up. That's how I know it's right. But if you know anything about cover 3 is indicative of your safeties, which I talked about. You got to have good safeties.
Yes.
And also cover 3 is not a blitzing. It's not a blitzing zone.
Correct.
So if last year's defense was better than this year's defense, why don't you look at what you did last year and say, okay, a cover 3 requires edge setters. It requires the rush from the middle, which they did. They got that. Check. Our cover 3 was indicative of Matt Milano. Pretty much it was revolving around him.
Mm-hmm.
He made all the calls. He made all the checks. He was the most important guy. When he got hurt, guess what? Tyrion Johnson had to slide into his role in essence.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is we had Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Lights out cover 3. Why? Guess what I found out? Cover 3, as I told you guys, it's not a split safety thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cover 3, you got to have the single high.
Yep.
A ball hawk. Cover 3, you got to have Max Harrison kind of players who, on a dime, get to that ball.
Yep.
Cover 3, you got to have linebackers who can shed blocks. If I run a cover 3, why just ball up what I did last year when all I got to do is figure out how to stop the run and start blitzing and change everything up? Run man. You don't have a man team. You were so close. You had a whole draft of defensive players to fix that.
Yep.
All you had to do, and nobody said boo about the defense. Nobody, I mean, it's not even about you got to go. You don't have to change the players. You got to change your philosophy back. Right. You got Hancock. Hancock is that single high we're talking about. We've seen Cam Lewis do it. If Hancock sucks, Cam Lewis can do it till you get somebody in that can do it.
Right.
All is not lost is what I'm getting at with what I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, who fits our scheme? Groot, wow. He was an edge setter. Wow, Bosa, edge setter. They got to the quarterback 8 times last year, 5 times last year without a blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Cover 3, no blitz. Guess what? It worked. You had more. You had more sacks last year than you're on pace for this year.
Right.
So why are we changing just to change stuff? Yeah, the defense is boring last year. Yeah, it wasn't exciting. Yeah, we didn't have those guys. We'll get the guys that play the same defense. That's what I'm talking about. The philosophy.
Number 1 in turnover differential.
Where is your philosophy? I've been saying this since we started this show. If you had that philosophy, you said I'm a cover 3 team. You draft cover 3 players, better cover 3 players.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't talking about 5-1 or 4-1 right now. We talking about who's it, boo? Whose ass we on in the Super Bowl? That's what we talking about.
Right. But the problem is they don't have a philosophy, and again, I'll go back to what we talked about on Monday. The idea of having a philosophy deals with the essence of what identity is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If your team does not have a strong enough identity, it will fall apart when challenged. And I think what we're seeing is this team has a lot of resilience after losses, but they don't have a lot of resilience when they're losing. And that's a completely different thing to have resilience after a loss than it is to have resilience during a loss. Mm-hmm. Right? Resilience during a loss is what allows Josh to do what he did against the Ravens. That's resilience during a loss, right? And to be fair to both the Patriots and the Ravens and the Bills, the Ravens defense was of lesser competition to the Bills than the Patriots defense, mm-hmm. right? So the same effort that Josh gave in that Ravens game worked in week 1, didn't work in week 5 or week 4 rather, or week 5. Sorry. And so the difference here is your identity in Buffalo was not strong enough to withstand the identity of the Patriots, mm-hmm. which is hard-nosed, smash mouth, punch you in the face, choke you out, body slam you every chance we get. If we got a lead on you, we're gonna get it. We're gonna keep getting a bigger lead and keep getting a bigger lead. Like they've run the score up on somebody this year already.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that killer mentality, right? When the Bills dropped 40 on, I think it was the Jaguars last year, they took everybody out in the third quarter. Like, keep going. Like I get injury, but just you can still keep Josh in there and run the ball. You can still keep Josh in there for third downs and keep the offense on the field. And if you keep scoring, then you just keep scoring. Stop it.
Yep.
If they don't like it, tell them to stop it.
Yep.
Right? But you got 2 games this year alone. I mean, the Panthers beat the Falcons 30-0. The Seahawks beat the Saints 44-3 or whatever it was. The Patriots dropped 40 on somebody this season. Like, these teams ain't just getting to 30 and like, all right, we can dial it back now, guys. We don't want to do too much. We don't want to put too much on tape.
Mm-hmm.
F that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we going all out. We gonna let everybody in the league know we capable of dropping 40 if you let us. Right? And all of that comes down to, though, it comes down to their identity. If their identity is finesse, fast defense, complimentary football, it like that's is BS. It is such like I think when you almost have to as a player talk to your guys in private, like, yo, forget what the coach saying. We're going to have to do this on our own. Like, it's going to have to be just us making this thing work, because if we keep following that, look where we ended up already. You know what I'm saying? So it's frustrating.
Let me see, who was that? Len's, I think it was Len. Hold on. Coach D, Nathan said, Coach D told us that Rapp is the guy the defense is making the calls now. Okay, let me read you what I wrote, what I found. This is not me, my conjecture. This is actually me reading articles and looking at stuff. And it's not to dispute anything that was said, but it breaks it down. The Bills post Milano cover 3 evolution 2023. It said in the base cover 3, Milano was the apex communicator. He buzzed the flats, the hooks, curls depending on motion. It says that Poyer was deep middle, Hyatt was rotating down, so that tells you what the back was doing. It said, who was it? Benford and whoever it was on the other side, I can't remember now. Play bail technique, eyes on the quarterback. So that's why they're always bailing. They were funneling to the inside because they knew Milano was there. Mm-hmm. They knew whether it was Edmonds or whoever Bernard.
Yeah, Milano ended up getting hurt last year too, and
they had to change. And it's the thing.
Right.
So when that happened, that's when Tyron Johnson had to go in there and do all the hook curl work. That's when Taylor Rapp became a chess piece that was rotating Leighton to Robert to buzz to mask the linebacker coverage voids. See, they're masking linebacker coverage voids. Now, if you know you have these voids, you better be fighting tooth and nail to get you somebody that's not a void that you got to fill. Mm-hmm. You knew Milano was pretty much washed 2 years ago. You knew that. So when did we start the process to try to get the succession plan going? Because we got Dorian Williams, who was nowhere near Milano in coverage, and that's what Milano was good for. Milano was a blitzer. Milano was an apex communicator. He processed his processing speed. And believe it or not, this is where I thought it was actually funny, because I forgot about this. Where did Luke Kuechly go to college? Boston College.
Yeah, I was just. Yep.
Where did Matt Milano go to college? Boston College. Yeah. Where did Mark Hersley go to college? There was the New York Giants linebacker that was a cerebral assassin. Boston College. All these guys were Boston College guys, and they all fulfilled the same need. See, what the Bills don't understand is they don't look at, okay, who coached this guy? Where is he now? Who's he have? What year are they in? They just say, you know what? I like this school. I like that trait. They don't follow up with coaches and traditions and schemes. And I know people, how do you know? You don't know. I don't have to know. I can tell you they don't, because look at who they're drafting and where they're coming from. And our role, he is washed. But the thing is, why is there not a guy right now? And don't give me Joe Andreessen. Don't give me Joe Andreessen. Jimmy Charlo. I love Jimmy Charlo.
He's the future.
Yeah, he's the future of the team. and we couldn't get Sean Dolac because he's the future. Right. Now, you know, and when I'm looking at what they wrote, I'm seeing, okay, Milano's scouting report in college. He diagnosed plays quickly, especially in zone coverage underneath zones. He's a tackle for loss machine. He racked up 28.5 tackles for loss, 13 sacks over his final 2 seasons at Boston College. He was a blitzer. He was comfortable dropping in the hook curl zones. I think they were trying to use him or use Bernard to replace Milano. But the problem is, if you want to do that, why don't you have a middle linebacker? Why do you slide him as a middle linebacker when he could be the will when Milano goes out? Now, he's got what? He's on a new contract. You're not moving him on a contract. You paid him to be the captain of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Who moves the captain of the team? So it's like he's typecast here where he should be here, and you got an aging Terran Johnson, so you lost that one. You got Cole Bishop, who should be able to slide him into that box and get the get the crossers, get the tight ends, all that stuff, which I believe he can. But I don't want Rapp on the back island by himself because it's not his game. He needs to be in the box, and that was my main Alonzo. Yeah, he was a different case altogether. But Spector, no. Andreessen, probably not. Dorian Williams, absolutely not. Not because he sucks, but that's not his game. So what do? We're gonna change midway. We're gonna about face and turn around and go to blitzing now. Go man when you were that close and before.
Yeah. And well, the reason you do that is because you don't actually have you're not building anything, right? So this is probably confirmation of a theory that I had based on what Sean said this offseason. And those of you that have been with us for a while and heard me talking earlier this offseason, you'll recognize this point. When here goes spin.
Nah, I wanted to hit on that one. I gotta get back. Go ahead, do your thing.
I mean, seriously, number 9 defense in total. But
who did we play?
Thank you.
The one team we played diced us up.
Exactly.
Slight, man. They put us through the blender.
But we're number 9 in defense, guys.
We played a quarterback tandem that didn't have 100 yards together.
Oh my God.
Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields did not have 100 yards together. So we're talking about defense. Spin, you're not getting me to rant. You're not going to do it. No, you're not going to do it.
So like I was saying.
Brother, you're brown.
So like I was saying. Sean McDermott puts this team into a bowl and says, all right, I got all these ingredients. Let's throw this in the oven and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's this idea that we're just, we can take everybody that we've accrued that fits the culture and build something out of it. And you combine that with it's a different team every year. And that equals exactly what we're seeing, which is there isn't any carryover from the previous season. There isn't any, we feel we needed to improve upon our pass rush to be able to execute X, Y, and Z. There is none of that because the mindset is every year is different. So we're going to scrap everything we did last year and, we'll keep the same scheme and, we'll ask players to improve their skill set so that the level of play can improve. But when it comes to, the concepts that we run, in our pass rush, and the coverages that we employ with our DBs and the style of defense we play, like that's all going to be, dependent upon what we end up with in training camp. Right. That's exactly what I think happens with this team. And it's very hard at this point now for anybody to show me anything that makes me believe any different, because the issues that they're having this season are the same exact issues that they're having last season, and they're playing a completely different style, and it's worse than what they're doing last year. Right? They started to play a little bit of man coverage last year, and they when they started doing it, it was like, all right, it's a little necessary because you're playing the Chiefs. You got to mix it up. You've never played man coverage, very much at all. Under Sean McDermott. So throwing a little twist at him, it worked. We ended up beating him here at home, right? But you didn't really see it that much again the rest of the season until the playoffs, right? And so at that point, it was like, all right, cool. It's a nice little twist to throw in there. if they can bolster the pass rush, they'll be able to mix that in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right. And I think this year is kind of proof that they think they did bolster the pass rush, and realistically they haven't. And I know the numbers show it. I've seen the numbers. Whatever. Look at who they played against.
Right.
Okay.
No, Spence said that he was trying to get the chat riled up. He said he was just trolling, trying to get the chat riled up. That's all.
Oh, of course. Of course. I roll up says breaking news: the Bills have signed Levi Wallace.
I got scared. I looked it up because I was gonna walk out before you even heard. I was gonna walk out before you saw it. I was like, nope, I'm out of here. I'm not going through this today. Like, Smitty, get your stuff. Trust me. Just let's go. This building's gonna be no more.
I think I did bring a grenade with me in my bag here.
Like, this is gonna be no more.
That's right. That's right. Boy, if they sign Levi Wallace, oh boy. Oh yeah, there won't be no more show. There won't be no more show.
It'll be in my house with like a sling and some soot. I'll be like, hey y'all. I'm gonna try to do it best as I can, but I can't see out of my left eye.
Yep. Buff said, I'm already looking at draft picks. Good idea.
Why? Don't do that to yourself.
What do you mean?
Don't do it to yourself. Trust me, from experience, I'm done. I just know who the players are at this point. I don't even care who fits the bill, because I don't even know what the Bills want anymore. I have no idea what they want on defense. Offense,
yeah.
Actually, you know what? I don't know what they want on offense either. I have no idea. I just watched it for sport now.
Yeah. I think I forgot where I was when I said this. It might have been yesterday, where I just kind of I'm just resigned to just watch and think to myself, it's got to end at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like realistically, I think, for those of you that are thinking critically about what we're seeing with the Buffalo Bills, we're truly stuck. We're stuck with a level of success that is great, but not great enough to finish the job, right? And the hope is, and the belief is, that, as Brandon Beane has said, we'll kick at the door one of these days and it'll just open. No locksmith, no skill involved, nothing that is scalable, and nothing that you can actually repeat year in year out like the Chiefs do, right? Their system is totally repeatable. They've been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
So
does anybody question them? No.
I
don't care what they do. It's gonna work.
But they seem to have figured it out, right? Whereas the Bills are just like, we'll keep kicking at the door.
Right. The Chiefs are like, everybody's like, the Chiefs are, what are they, 2-3? Oh, does anybody think they're gonna miss the playoffs? Nobody thinks that. When Lamar comes back, does anybody think the Ravens are gonna really miss the playoffs? Maybe somebody, Dorothy. But really, nobody thinks that.
Right.
So it's like, why is this so hard? Somebody saying that the AFC's for the taking. You're right. And the Ravens and the Chiefs, they know. They're like, all right, we'll be there in a minute.
Yeah.
Give me 20 minutes. I'll be there.
The Ravens are going to catch up. They have a really easy second half schedule. Second half of the season, I mean.
Let them get healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the guys they just traded for, I mean, it's their coverage is going to be that much better. And if their coverage is better, I get that they lost pieces on the defense too. They traded away Oweh and Matabike, I think, is gone for the season. If I'm not. So I mean, they're gonna have to count on some younger guys, but it's not like they don't draft well enough to be able to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just, again, I kind of land on this point of we're just stuck.
Yeah.
We're just stuck, and it's one of those, like, it sucks because you're stuck, but if you're doing a show like we are, it's something to talk about.
Something to talk about. I mean, we could go either way. Like, if it was all good, we could do a good show. If it was, we got stuff we got to critique, we'll throw that in there too. Yeah. But I mean, we just like to call it like we see it, and let their players play. Mike Green about to get run. Yeah, that's why they traded Oweh.
Yeah,
that's why they traded him. They're like, you know what? He all right. So I think somebody asked me, so how's Mike Green look? I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
We're going to find out.
Right. I was like, don't worry about it. They like throwing this on my face, but I'm like, you understand. Their process takes 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Ours takes 2-3 years. Ours takes a whole contract. We still trying to evaluate dude after the whole contract. We're going to re-sign him to it. No, it's over. Just say it. Just try again.
Yeah, we still waiting on the process with Greg Rousseau.
Mm-hmm.
We still waiting on the process with who else?
Epinesa can't get no shine.
No.
He's number 7 in the league in pressure rate. He can't get it. He sucks, but he's right behind Bosa.
Yep.
Who's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Then Epinesa's like right below him. And he's like, yo, what is it to buy? 6 is the median point? If Epinesa moves to 6, is he all right? Or does he still suck? And Bosa's number 5 and he's great. I don't get it. You know, it's just funny. You know, I struggle with how people evaluate some things and what the value system is at times.
Yeah. Lindsay says, I'm glad the Bills bye is in October this year. The last 5 seasons in October has been a struggle. I want to get to this comment here. I agree with you, Lindsay. I agree. I think by that time, teams are sure of who they are, and they're also sure of exactly how to beat the Bills. And that's the hard part is, you know, we're seeing what it looks like if the drought Bills would have had a great quarterback, because I think we now know that the issue is not necessarily whether or not you have a good quarterback, right? Because we have one.
Yep.
And we still haven't been able to do, you know, that much more than what we were doing during a drought. Right? Like realistically, let's keep it real. Like we were fluctuating between, you know, 7-9 and 9-7 pretty much every year. We were never bad enough to be really bad to get, you know, to draft a quarterback high.
Right.
But we were never, you know, good enough to do anything in the playoffs. We could never make the playoffs. So now here we are with Josh Allen, and the result is the same. We're still living in this bubble of this fluctuation of not being good enough to make a Super Bowl, but being too good to, you know, to get to, you know, move down easily enough to get the really, really top end players in the draft. And I don't know. It's not fun. But there were, so I want to get to, so Cato says, facts. I remember I listened to a Chiefs broadcast after we beat them in the regular season. They don't care. Yeah. Why don't they care? They don't care because they know once they get to the playoffs, they'll play games like they did last year against Houston and they'll win by 1 point, but it doesn't matter because they still get to move on no matter what. If it's a point or half a point, at the end of the day, a win is a win in the playoffs for the Chiefs. And it's one more step towards the same goal that they've been reaching every single year for the last 5 years, which is an AFC championship. They've been in all of them. Yeah. They've been in every last AFC championship game pretty much since Josh has been the quarterback here.
All right.
Think about that for a second. Because they were in the AFC championship game the year Josh was drafted, and they lost to the Patriots. The very next year, they beat the Patriots, make their first Super Bowl. The year after that, we played them in the AFC championship game, and so on and so forth. They've been in the AFC championship game for
ever
7 years. It's 2025. Yeah. Since 2018. They've been in the AFC championship game 7 years in a row. 7 years in a row, bro. That is unimaginable. And we've made two in the last 9. They've been to 7 in a row. Their process seems to have a level of success that our process has no clue about.
Yeah.
But we can't talk about other teams. We're as Bills fans, and you know, the rah-rah fans won't let us talk about other teams. They won't let us compare ourselves to other teams because we're not other teams. Like we can't think about what happens in the rest of the NFL with all these other teams that continue to get bad and then get good while the Bills are still trying to figure out how to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And Dan said even with the even with Alex Smith, they had the success we have now. Yeah, system because it doesn't change.
Yep. Let's get to these comments.
Yeah.
You started here.
Albert, who are you talking about here? You know the name?
There's a kid at Alabama, 6'2" DB that runs a 10-1 and is a track star. You should look him up. You should look for him this year, press corner 2, and he's not high ranked like Tennessee dude.
I'll take a look.
Okay. Dank says we need Ed Oliver bad. Yeah, I think that'll help to solve. I guess I shouldn't say solve. That'll help to improve our pass rush significantly. Having a guy like that back.
Well, the risk. This is why I like that he got hurt. And I know it's insensitive to say, but stay with me.
Oh shoot!
Stay with me now.
There you go. All right. See, it allowed the maturation of Deion Walker. It allowed him to get snaps as a starter that he wouldn't have got if Ed Oliver would have been playing. It allowed him to see what it's like to get double teamed, what the blocking schemes are in the NFL, what the power is, what the leverage is. It allowed him to see that. So unlike what TJ Sanders said when he got drafted, and I said this in the shows right after, I didn't like that he said, I want to play. I'm glad I'm in Buffalo because I know all the slides are gonna go to Ed. No, you said they coming to me and I'm gonna beat them.
Right.
You know, I don't want an easy route. I want to be on force too. And what Deion Walker is showing is now teams are like, who's this big mountain dude in the middle? They forgot all about 91.
Right.
So when they see this is everybody eats, I'll meet you at the quarterback.
Yeah.
See, so when we get 91, now 96 gonna get there. Who do we block? Well, we block them both. Guess what? 8's coming on a looper. Who do we block?
Yeah.
Heaven forbid, 42's in the game. Watch him too. He's a head cracker too. What do we do? You know, and that's the excitement behind Ed Oliver being out so long because everybody's like, well, he's not producing. The Baltimore Ravens game is an anomaly. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's an anomaly. Don't expect, 6 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, sack. Don't expect all that. That's an anomaly.
Forced fumble.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that he lucked into it, but that just doesn't happen. But what does happen is his reputation that he's gonna build is gonna allow Deion Walker to go to work. And then Deion Walker's reputation, because he went to work, is going to allow Ed Oliver to go to work. And then that's when you're going to see Rousseau get open up. Oh, wait. Hoyt's coming back. You saw that man. He don't even care about pass rush move. He just pushed him into the quarterback.
Yep.
This is where the tide turns. So now we got to worry about that back, what is that? 7. Because, I'm hearing you about the cornerback, but we got a lot of them already. We got young ones. We got, we just paid Benford. We got these two. And I don't know how high this guy's going to go because I don't even know his name, but I'll look it up. But for me, I'm looking at safety. I really want a safety.
Yeah.
Even if it's a backup, just in case Hancock. What if Hancock's a better corner? What if he's a good nickel? Taron Johnson's getting older. What if Cam Lewis believe it or not, every time I go to a UB game, they put the UB Bulls that are now in the NFL. Cam Lewis and the 7-year me uncle, like, what? 7 years now? Because nobody in UB, Malcolm, Trevor Scott, Khalil Mack, these are the guys that last. All the other ones, they're out there, but you probably couldn't name them. So I'm sitting like, wow, okay. So these guys, we're gonna have to think about replacing a UB Bull, which is the backup, because he's about to be 30. We got to replace Taron Johnson because he is 30 or 29 or close to it.
Right.
And so we got to start, but I don't want another Milano thing because Taron Johnson's starting to get hurt. Cam Lewis gets hurt every once in a while. He's a smaller guy. It's time to start thinking about what about that slot? Somebody said Max Harrison in the slot. Can he do it? Maybe. If Dorian Strong comes back, guess what? There your 3 right there. Get some backups.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, the realest point that we can make for our secondary is if we had a pass rush like the Texans have, or if we had a pass rush like the Jaguars have, or if we had a pass rush like the Giants have, or if we had a pass rush like the Eagles have, our corners would look a lot better.
One of them be all pro.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Right. Because the idea is the Bills are giving up the biggest, the largest time to throw average, I think, in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken.
Close to it or not.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So the idea is while we were, high on the charts in pressures, that still wasn't coming for 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then we would have a bunch of pressure, right? But I looked at this play. I want to pull up some film on the Falcons because we got to get to them. We're running out of time here.
I gotta start this, but go ahead. Do you think?
Sure. There's a play from. Yeah, this is it. There's a play from the Falcons when they were playing the Vikings that I want to show everybody that really speaks to two things. It speaks to Penix's mechanics, and it also speaks to how he is able to escape, and it also speaks to how he reads the field. Right? You can kind of see all three things within this one play. And actually, I don't think he gets the ball off in time on this one. It might have been this other play that I have saved. So so I think I'll show you the other one there in terms of his accuracy, right? But on this particular play, let's go ahead and play it. Okay, so he ends up getting sacked. Now, as you can see, he has some maneuverability, right? He can move around. He's not, people talk about, well, the knee injury and all that kind of stuff. He can move. He can adjust. He can get away from, sacks if there's enough space to do so, right? Now, at this point in time, he's got this tight end down here was open already, right? I'll back it up just a little bit, right? And you'll see, bam, tight end's open right there if the ball is on time. As soon as the tight end turns his head, if the ball is right there, boom, done. Now, this specific play design, it looks like is designed to go here to, who's that, Pitts? Yeah, it looks like it's designed to go to Pitts, right? Because they run this oh gosh, I think that's no, it's not a flood concept. I forget which concept this is where they have the receiver, I think this is Mooney up here, running a skinny post, and then they've got the deep in here with this receiver here, right? And that's basically built to free up either one of these guys in single coverage against a safety, right? I think in this case it's a corner, but in this case it's a safety. And Penix at that point with his arm strength can kind of pick and choose, and it's kind of like an option play. This tight end being open down here is the hot, basically. This is the outlet if he's in trouble. But on this play, you can see with the pressure, he's kind of not even looking at the tight end being open down here. He wants to go down the field here, right? Now, what's stopping him from going down the field is this deep third, this safety all the way, here at the top. I know it's kind of hard to see, but he, like, half of him is on the screen here. So these deep routes are gone. There's nothing he could do. And instead of checking it down here to the tight end, he starts looking at this guy coming over the middle here, right? At that point, it's over. That's where the sack comes from. So part of this play was to show he's not at the point yet where he's seeing the entire field, right? He's honing in on specific receivers. There's plays he wants to make because he knows he can, kind of in that Josh Allen ilk where, I want to get it down the field. I want to make this play, right? Now let me pull up this other play here, and I want to show you the mechanics here. Share this tab instead. Perfect. All right. So that should be, yep. All right. So let's blow this one up. Now, this is just a very simple pitch and catch, but look how badly he misses this dude.
Ooh.
He had plenty of time.
Ooh.
He had plenty of time. What'd you see?
Tight. Was this tight in the middle?
Oh, yeah, Kyle Pitts.
Oh, that was an easy touchdown.
Yeah.
Too. look at the who is this? The cornerback behind Pitts on 87. Go up to the down a little bit to the left. Right down. Nope. To the left. Right there. Look, he's not even looking at Pitts. If you back, you don't have to do it, but if you backed it up even a little bit, you'll see this 56 is way. Look at right here. If he puts that on a 10, touchdown.
Yeah. This safety will be, if he has any kind of talent, he'll be able to meet him at the 10, maybe. But as long as that ball is leading him past the 10-yard line, Pitts is splitting that coverage to a touchdown. Period. But instead, we got him, pumping 2 or 3 times to get the ball to his boy, Drake London. Right. Mm-hmm. So here's the play again: 1 pump, 2 pump.
Oh man, that was way late.
But this is so the other part of this is the mechanics. Look how high that ball is over him.
That was just year 1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So these are some of the things that we're going to see against Penix. However, this is against JC Horn, who you got to worry about throwing in that area. You know what I'm saying? And the pass rush. They got some boys in Carolina that can play defensively. They had a great defense last year. So we know they can play defense.
I like how you slid that defensively in there. Got boys that can play defensively. Yeah, that's what we can do.
Oh my gosh. But so again, to just going to show everybody, like, this is what he looks like against good defenses. The Vikings have a good defense this season. The Panthers have a good defense this season. He's prone to staring receivers down. He's prone to, throwing with bad mechanics and overthrowing players. So now that you've seen this on tape in 2 different occasions against 2 different teams, now let's go and see how he does against the Bills. Because based on what we've seen, the first 5 weeks of the season, this isn't a defense that's going to be able to force a quarterback to make those kind of plays, right? There was one more that I think was right below this one that I wanted to get to. Let me just see here. Yeah.
Ray McLeod.
Oh, come on. You got to pull that up, please.
How's that? Please. Oh, yeah. It's going to. It's got this buffering.
Please. Oh, it went to the beginning. Oh, you cut me deep. All right. Never mind. No. Scrap it. Scrap it. All right. Well, we'll move on from that. But
okay, so Nathan said, honest question, Keys, do you think Hoyt would be a difference maker? Yeah, this is why. I don't see any difference in Hoyt and Bosa in terms of pass rush, but what Hoyt brings you is a run defense that Bosa just does not have. So I think you will have to keep Bosa on the field for those running downs. You can platoon him if you want, or you can just leave Hoyt out there until he gets tired, or you can, obviously you can put Bosa out there. He's a 1-year contract, so you're really not losing a ton as opposed to what you invested in Hoyt already. So even though he was suspended for 6 games, you still have a longer and bigger investment in him than you do in Bosa.
Yeah. The other thing too with Hoyt is his athleticism allows you to use him, and I've said this before when we first signed him, it allows you to use him like the Bills used Lorenzo Alexander. Yep. And that is huge when you're talking about stopping the run. That is huge when you're talking about stopping the run. When you look at the way the Bills, you know what? I'll see if I can pull up some video on Lorenzo Alexander from 2017.
It should be up there.
Okay, so on Monday's show we'll have some of that just to kind of show you guys with Hoyt being in position to come back after week 6. We'll kind of give you an idea of what to look for with how he can be used to be extremely impactful on this defense, because when they go in base formation, Lorenzo Alexander was that strong side linebacker, right? And he wasn't great in coverage, but at that point in time, you had a pretty darn good pass rush. So he didn't need to be great in coverage. And what gave you some assistance with that is that every now and then you send him on a blitz, or every now and then you drop your defensive end and send Zoe in there and confuse the quarterback on his backside. Maybe that defensive end kind of rolls out with whatever the outlet for the whatever outlet route the running back is running is.
I mean, to double up on your point, he wasn't a good cover guy, but guess what? To Lovable Bum was a 13 sack Pro Bowl second team All Pro player that year. You can be limited and still be good.
That's right.
As long as you know how to be used, if
That's
they know how to
right.
use you, you're going to be all right. And that's the struggle. We got guys, and that's why when everybody says get new players, I'm like, I don't need that as much as I need just to have a consistent process for their philosophy. What are we doing with the philosophy? Damani Jackson. I'll take a look. Al, you're in the Discord. We'll talk anyway. Yeah, but
Wait, did you need to go back? I'm sorry.
No. He said Damani Jackson. So he gave the name real quick.
Oh, okay.
But I think we have to worry about one thing though. And that's that Michael Penix fixes his footwork and his accuracy with just one cup of Reese's tea.
You think he's capable?
Do not let that man get an express shipment of Reese's tea. Amazon Prime 1-day delivery. Do not let it happen.
I mean, he could just go to Delta Sonic now. It's that easy.
He could.
Really that easy.
Now, before we do this, I don't want to let him know there's one part delicious. I don't want to tell him one part healthy or 2 parts healthy and 1 part of refreshing. I don't want him to know that. Why? Because I don't want him to believe me. And I damn sure don't want him to see for himself. Kyle Pitts, on the other hand, he can see for himself. He ain't did none of my fantasy teams ever. So have all you want. What do I know? See for yourself. Head over to Delta Sonic. Head over to Reed's. Head over anywhere you can get Reed's tailgate tea, and let them know for the hell of it. Go to Waitman's. Tell Waitman's Post Podium Podcast sent me. Who the hell's that? Don't matter. They sent me.
Just walk into Wegmans and start throwing bottles at people.
Yeah. Post Podium Podcast said so.
Reese tea.
And guess what? You get us pub, you get Reese Tea Pub. Everybody's happy. Your thirst is quenched. It's a good day. So click on the link in the description below. Tell them Post Podium Podcast sent you. And that in a baby. But we got to talk about this before. How are we going to do a show on Monday? We got to start earlier. So I'm gonna have to leave earlier from work because the game is at 7:15.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we gotta go like 5-ish. Are you doing a pregame show or no?
I am.
Yeah, so we can shorten our show and run into the pregame show. I'm gonna cut out at 7 regardless. So you gotta get with Tommy.
You gotta get to work early, you said?
No, I'm going home to watch the game.
Oh,
because I gotta get my White Claw on, baby. Not Reed's Tea approved. Get that White Claw, baby. That's the Reed's after dark.
Bro, that was perfect. That was perfect. I loved every second of that. So maybe we just do the show Tuesday. No,
we didn't do a pregame show though. We didn't do our own one. Well, we can. I mean, I can do Tuesday if you want to do that, or we can just do Monday. I can do 5. We'll do 5 to.
Are you still off on Monday?
Yeah.
Maybe we can get here.
I'll come in earlier, and
yeah, let's do. Can we do 4:30?
Probably
on Monday.
Yeah, that should be good.
All
yeah,
right.
that'll be good. That's fine.
Yeah, let's try to work it where we can do 4:30.
Yeah, that's fine.
What I'll do is I'll get here Sunday evening and set everything up. That way I can just come straight here from work.
Yes, Indigenous Peoples Day Monday, so all the kids are off from school, so that's the crisis averted.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be off work at 4. You guys saw that, right? I'm supposed to be off work at 4. And yeah, we'll go from there. So guys, just look for the update in the Discord or on the YouTube channel. We'll let you know for certain exactly when we're gonna not start. We'll be 2 or 3 minutes late, but you know how we roll.
No doubt. No doubt.
But with that, hey, hit the music.
All right, here we go.
Cue it.
All right, that should have been long enough for the music to breathe where I can get in here. Hopefully my voice is not warbled, but listen, thank you to everybody that tuned in and stuck with us on a Friday evening. It is not easy to do. It is getting colder in some areas, so it might be a little easier in those places than not, but you still did it. You stuck with us, you hung out with us, and we are very appreciative of that, right? So shout out to you. If you have not done so already, though, and it's free, if you want to show some support, show us some love, just a little bit, you can hit that like button. If you want to do something that benefits you a little bit more, you can hit that subscribe button, right? Mm-hmm. But if you really want to get the best value out of this thing, you got to hit that bell, make that thing so that you can get notifications when we send notifications. Like, we will be posting the specific time for Monday's show on YouTube right? That'll be in our notification section or whatever they call it now, the social section.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing it, right, Laura? Bang, bang.
I'm not a part of that bang bang. I don't want to die. I just want to live. So please don't associate me with that. Anyways, shout out to Smitty working the cameras tonight. Every night from here on out pretty much, and he's doing such a great job. So shout out to him for that. Thank you again. Really looking forward to a lot of the stuff that we're going to be able to do. And I know we got to get out of here. So let me say this really quick. Mm-hmm. We have so much cool stuff coming for you guys. You don't even know, right? Some of the stuff that we're going to be able to do with cameras, camera angles, and like all different types of stuff that we're going to be able to add to the show. And as soon as we get all that stuff figured out, you'll understand what we're talking about. But you got to tell a friend about it. You got to get people in here, right? We won't be able to continue to grow this stuff unless we're getting the support that we need from you guys. So if you could just tell one person, just look to the person on the left of you and say, have you subscribed yet? And if they haven't, punch them in the face. So anyways, thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure that you get in touch with us on social media. All of our links are on in the description of this video. I didn't even put our thing at the bottom there. Wow.
It was never there?
It was never there the whole show. Ain't that crazy?
Grease, though. That's what it was.
Right. That's exactly what it was. All right. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth, No Sodium Takes. I've been your co-host, Aramis.
For the keys.
All right. I love it. You got the heart down now.
I'm getting it, man.
Pat.
I'm getting it. I'm about to be young again.
I love it. All right. Y'all have a great night. We will see you on Monday. Peace.
Deuces.